I'm just like, I'm free.
He's a selfish character.
He's a
Biggest piece of shit I've ever seen in my life.
Piece of shit.
Who spits on a corpse in the first episode?
That type of persona can be very grating.
So against anything that he's done before, so against him as a person, that being just a fucking...
POS. It's like Anti-Mercer.
The world's most famous dungeon master, Matthew Mark Mercer, has officially switched roles for the new campaign of Critical Role from DM to player character. And from just the first episode, we've got some surprising lessons on what to do and what not to do as a player in D&D. Yeah, this new character, he's a little spunky.
Who spits on a corpse in the first episode?
And that's a strong choice, knowing how many thousands of people look to him as an example for how to play RPGs. Hence, we may have a new Mercer effect on our hands. So, we are going to briefly cover the original Mercer effect problem, then a few lessons from Matt's previous rare sessions as a player, and then focus on the new guy.
Piece of shit.
And finally, a word from Mercer himself on how to overcome the Mercer effect. Because I'm Bob, this is where we learn how to have more fun playing RPGs together, and the Matt Mercer effect was coined in this Reddit post on Christmas Eve 2018, in which the OP asks for advice on how to handle a few of their players who discovered D&D through Critical Role. These guys watched 30 plus hours of the show before they ever picked up a D20. The Dragonborn sounds exactly like the one from the show. Half the group asked how I plan to handle Resurrection, and they told me how Matt does it. Simply put, the Mercer effect is the problem that arises when a player's expectations for a home game of D&D are based primarily on the professional performances of Matt and the cast of Critical Role. But the solution was given almost immediately, the day after Christmas, by Mercer himself, commenting on the post. It's a long response filled with solid advice and helpful reality checks for any game master or player to consider, so we will read it at the end of this video, but let's pull one quote right here. Need I also remind your players that we are a table of professional voice actors, and I have been DMing for well over 20 years. We have spent our lives training in particular skills that allow us to get as immersed in the characters as we enjoy doing. Excellent point. However, then how do people like you and me develop those skills without becoming an actor and ideally in fewer than 20 years of DMing? Well, I can recommend one fun tool for honing your instincts and improv skills, a tabletop RPG that happens to be today's sponsor. Enclave Aspirant. It gets everything out of the way so you can focus on storytelling. Even the dice. Yeah, I thought a diceless RPG would be weird, but I played a session with the designer, and my gosh, look out, Mercer. Incredible hair and a stunning GM, because he wrote a game that trains you to improvise with confidence. Literally, we made characters on the spot, gave him a couple evocative words for setting and theme, and he just made up an exciting one-shot mission. The one-shot style basically solves scheduling, and Enclave's combo of multiversal themes plus out-of-the-box thinking is perfect whether you love superhero fantasy or super grounded OSR play. So if you want to train those particular skills, check out Enclave Aspirant through my link below so they know who sent you. Alright, when it comes to lessons learned from Matt's previous player characters, I noticed a disturbing pattern. In the first ever recorded RPG session with Matt as a PC, he plays the game Paranoia with several familiar faces. Or should I say, sits quietly through a game of Paranoia until the very end when I think something awakened in Matthew Mercer. But seriously, after introducing his character, troubleshooter Marduk, Matt does nothing until about the 45-minute mark when each character is prompted with a different room challenge. Shortly thereafter, Marduk obtains a mysterious item called the Probability Grenade, and fast forward through a ton of shenanigans that you should probably watch sometime, Matt finally uses the Probability Grenade, and spoiler for this 9-year-old YouTube video, he destroys the universe. The GM rolled for its effect, got a 1, and thus Matt ended reality itself and the episode, but also began a shift from sitting quietly through an entire session toward chaos, towards the Anti-Mercer. For example, another early instance of a player character, Matt, where we actually learn a nice lesson, is this short and entertaining session of D&D 5e. What Matt does so well is listen to the GM's cues and keep the party on task, and he does it with this newfound assertiveness. As soon as the party gets directions from a random NPC, Matt's character, a hairless tabaxi rogue, pushes right past them toward the real quest giver. And after another PC accidentally causes this random NPC to faint and proceeds to loot the body, it is Mercer again who resets focus, approaching the home of the actual quest giver. And a little later, with a little chaos in his voice, Matt's character prompts any other player character to engage with the confused old man they were told might know something more.
And he just sort of looks like he's looking out into space.
Hey, look at that man looking out into space. Maybe it's him.
Wow. Someone else talk to him before I do.
It is precisely these little nudges from a player, polite yet stern, that can be so helpful for a GM, and it's a good player behavior you'll often see from players with GM experience because they know exactly how helpful it can be. But if we skip ahead a few years to the Exandria Unlimited miniseries, both the helpfulness and the chaos have accelerated. Matt introduces his character, Dariax, waking up on a roof, disheveled after some wild night, and the first thing he does is try to feed alcohol to a pigeon. Fails, then collects his spear from an alley gutter covered in pee according to the GM, and he just goes with it. But maybe the most distilled version of Matt's helpful chaos in this first episode comes about an hour in when the party still isn't sure where they need to go. So Dariax takes off his pendant, a compass rose, spins it on the ground to choose a direction. In fact, his action seemed to cue the GM, who immediately cut to the party noticing a shady figure, and of course, Dariax just calls out to the nefarious NPC, now springboarding them into the actual adventure. So aside from this guiding role, the other lesson we learn here is to treat your character's gear like a tool for roleplay. Matt made a fun scene out of misplacing his primary weapon, a call that most players might be too fearful to make, but he knew that the consequences were probably minimal, or if they were serious, it would be exciting. And with both items, these moments perfectly exemplified his PC's devil may care attitude. And we're back outside. Now, Critical Role, Campaign 4, no spoilers, and a quick reminder that this abrasive Anti-Mercer character is just that, a character, Sir Julian Divinos, a level 3... Sir Julian Divinos is a level 3 human fighter / rogue who does indeed spit on a corpse in the first episode. The corpse was not a slain monster, but a very recently deceased backstory NPC for all 13 player characters, almost all of whom loved this dead NPC and what he stood for. Meanwhile, Sir Julian, let's just say he's glad the guy's dead. But alarm bells should be ringing. This player's choice to be an antagonist to the rest of the party is an obvious no-go, more likely to cause player versus player problems than to create an intriguing story like it surely will for these professional actors. So yeah, your fun is not wrong, but if one of my players wanted to be an antagonist, I'd need every other player to approve the idea as fun and to agree that if it led to any not fun PvP, that character becomes an NPC villain, period. Disclaimers out of the way, why is it so cool when Matt does it? 3 reasons. Number 1, contrast. With a unique set of ideals, bonds, and flaws to the rest of the party, Sir Julian Divinos genuinely stands out from the other 13 characters, and I'll emphasize, he wasn't obnoxious and in your face, almost the opposite really. Pretty much all of his screen time, if you will, was spent in hushed intense conversations leading to number 2, exposition. Because until Sir Julian shows up, we get a mostly one-sided view of the world's history, its politics, religion, but whoa, this guy not only provides a different perspective, but also new information about events and other player characters that might have otherwise stayed secret because it makes them look bad. So he's effectively filling in blind spots for the viewer, creating a little dramatic irony like any great story should have. And 3, yeah, the sheer spectacle of internet nice guy Matt Mercer acting like a douchebag. After Sir Julian's first conversation with an NPC noblewoman, Grace World Destroyer was like, wow, what an incel. Now, I gave my advice on handling the Anti-Mercer effect in your group. But here's how Matt himself suggests handling a player whose expectations, based on Critical Role, are spoiling the fun. The fact of the matter is our style of play is just that. Our style of play. Every table is different and should be. If your players just want to copy what we do, that's not very creative, nor what makes the game magic at the table. I do believe that it's important for any gaming group to discuss expectations early into a campaign so everyone can get on the same page and avoid dissonance. However, it's everyone's responsibility at the table to provide and add to the experience for everyone to enjoy themselves and the story, not just the DM. Anyone can jump in as deeply should they wish to, but expecting that immediate level of comfort and interest is unfair and absurd. Do they want a deep, convoluted, emotional journey like Scanlan? They better be able to bring it like Sam did. No? Then just sit down and have fun finding your own path. Anyway, I say the best course is have a very frank conversation with them about these things. Clearly say your game will feel like your game, meaning you and the players together, and it's their responsibility to bring to the table what facet they want to see in it. In fact, show them this message. Guys, relax. Your DM is kicking ass and doing it for your enjoyment and journey. Appreciate that. Listen. Build with them and make this something unique. Abandon expectations and just have fun together as friends. With that awesome advice, remember to check out our awesome sponsor. Check out Patreon or YouTube membership for Discord access, bonus videos, and to support this channel directly. Thank you, and keep building.